welcome back to another episode of Cancels. We are your hosts. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Alejandro.
And today we are just going to dive right into it. We are going to talk about everything that's been happening so far, from Sharon Stone talking about, cancel culture, to everything Lil Nas X and his music video, to YouTubers going crazy on Twitter. I know it's a lot, but most importantly, I'm super excited because we do have a lot of things to talk about. What shall we talk about first? Do you want to talk about Sharon Stone?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
If I'm not mistaken, she was on a podcast, correct? I don't think this was a tweet or anything, but she was on a podcast on Sirius XM for Just Jenny. And if it's Just Jenny, I'm assuming it's Jenny. I'm not going to say it's just Jenny. We'll leave it at that. Pretty much discussing her feelings on the controversy topic of what is cancel culture and everything counterproductive. And she kind of mentioned good points. One, she called it stupid. She thinks it's dumb and it's one of the stupidest thing that she has ever seen, and that people should be given an opportunity. One thing that she mentioned was, I think people say things that they feel and mean, and it's offensive to you. It's a brilliant opportunity for everyone to learn and grow and understand each other. We all come from different ages, different cultures, different backgrounds, different things, and have had different experiences, different traumas, different upbringings, parents, religious backgrounds, different everything. But when it comes down to cancel culture, it's one person's opinion against another's, right?
And I agree with her. I think she mentioned too, I saw in the People article that she was just mentioning that people have done way worse things than say one sentence. I think I can't remember what.
Yeah, it's like something from one sentence. People are like very small-minded, and you say one thing, even though it could have been 10, 15 years ago. Yet it'll come back to haunt you. Your past will come back to haunt you. And at this point, it's like, oh my God, they have to be taking accountability for it. But what about those 15, 10 years that, you've taken for your own self without the public knowing to grow from your mistakes?
So then maybe do you think it's also like the responsibility of like these influencers or these celebrities to also acknowledge their growth and change? Or do you think that's kind of like not necessary?
I think it is necessary, but I don't think it's necessary to promote it to the entire public, right? It's like, let's say someone cancels you, and then you kind of had to come back out and say, oh, I've changed, I've learned, I've grown so much. It's like, I don't need to tell you that I did that. I have done it personally. Let's say you've done it personally, but in your own private time. You don't have to come out and say, oh, I learned from my mistakes, this and that. I get it, and I think it's a nice thing to do so, but I just don't think society should tell you what to do and how to act for something that you said, a long time ago, or something that you did a long time ago.
Yeah, because my only thing is like, how can you come back, or like because at the end of the day, being as like weird as it sounds, kind of being like the public eye is like their job. Like, yeah. So my only thing is, how can you come back from that, like being canceled, without like having to issue an apology? But I mean, I guess there's like different things you could do.
I feel like in this point, like, I guess it is hard. Oh my gosh, I actually know exactly a perfect example. Yesterday, I was watching episode 3 of Demi Lovato's docuseries about her struggle with addiction and her battling with everything. And one thing that happened, the night that she overdosed, the night before, she was celebrating a friend's birthday. And her friend ended up being a choreographer, a backup dancer and whatnot, that when the overdose happened, everyone started pointing and blaming the friend for not taking care of Demi. So she starts mentioning in the docuseries how, you know, it was hard for her to get jobs. Other celebrities were like, other singers, artists were refusing to work with her because of the story that was Demi Lovato's overdose. And she never really got a chance to kind of explain her side until yesterday's episode. She was getting death threats. People were making fan pages for her to die. Like it was a whole charade of nonsense that I feel like society could have really looked at the bigger picture and be like, someone's struggling not only with addiction, but also with mental health. And you can't blame that on somebody else. Like it's their own issues, their own problems. Yes, people can be there in their life to help you, but at the end of the day, you have to bounce back. It is hard to bounce back and, you know, move on and be yourself without, I guess, telling people your side of the story. And I feel like that girl never got to. But with cancel culture, I do believe now the way that society wants you to tell you how to do things, it's pretty much owning up to your mistakes. But even when owning up to your mistakes, you still have them telling, oh, you still did it. Oh, you still said it. I feel like it's never an opportunity to kind of like grow, because you're always just going to be pushed back down.
Yeah, I feel like you can never win. It's always going to be something. Like if you're not getting canceled for one thing, you're getting canceled for something you said or did or posted like years ago. And I feel like now there's kind of like steps people expect you to take in order for you to redeem yourself, which I mean, I guess it's I guess understandable to a point, but not really, because everyone deals and learns differently. Like, oh, maybe this person wants to take time off of being in the public eye, so they're not going to issue any apology, but the public is, you know, wanting them.
Yeah, they are expecting that apology.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's very like just in the hands of the people. Like they decide what goes and what doesn't.
I can see it, but people should also, you know not to be so quick to judge. You know, is it a verse? Ye who has sinned, thrown the first stone. Who has not sinned, throw the first stone. Look at yourself, right? What you're doing, what you're saying, you bringing down a public figure, a celebrity, anybody who has done something, have you not been in their shoes? Have you not done something where you might have thought, oh shit, I fucked up? Like people also have to take that into accountability. We're not all perfect. We all make mistakes. I just think, people are very narrow-minded when it comes to those types of issues.
Yeah, like the Captain Underpants author, I don't remember his name, but what happened with him recently, like he decided to take down one of his series because he thought, like, I didn't look too much into it to see if anyone else thought about this, but from the article that I read, it was all his decision, that he realized that the book he was doing, which was the Ook and Glook cavemen of the future, like Kung Fu Fighting cavemen of the future, something like that, he realized that it wasn't giving the message that he wanted it to give. He said he originally did that series because he wanted to be more inclusive and he wanted to kind of get rid of certain stereotypes, but then looking back at it, he says he realized he was playing into those stereotypes and he decided to pull down that certain spin-off title. So I mean, I guess that's like, he learned from his mistake, or it wasn't him, at least from what I know, it wasn't him getting backlash for it. People were just he just kind of brought it up to attention, and then I feel like people kind of were like attacking him for it.
Well, I feel like nobody ever attacked him to begin with. It's the same thing with the Dr. Seuss books. It's they're like, we're making sure that as we continue on the right note. And there are some books that were written by Dr. Seuss that we don't think are acceptable to still be on shelves, because some people might see it as offensive. Not everyone, but some people. And we want to make sure that everyone is included. With his books, you know, his the book that he took down was The Adventures of Ook and Gluk Kung Fu Caveman from the Future. Jesus, that's such a long title. He published it in 2010, and pretty much he said that it was the book was meant to showcase diversity, equality, and nonviolent conflict resolution. That, you know, now he says that it's hurtful, wrong, and harmful to the Asian people, and especially with everything that's happened to the Asian community right now, and you know, as we're fighting back and trying to support them as much as we can, you know, things like this, I understand why, you know, the author would have taken it down.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense. At least, you know, he was able to acknowledge it and kind of, I guess, fix his issue. Mm-hmm. Or like fix his mistake that he thought was a mistake. Yeah. I can't really personally say, because I've never read the books or even knew they existed. So, but I mean, even from the title, I feel like it was still kind of like.
I mean, I kind of knew about Captain Underpants. I just thought it was just kind of like corny. I'm like, why the hell am I going to be reading a book about a captain in underpants? Like, this makes no sense. I will say I did see the movie just for shits and giggles, and I thought it was entertaining. But I was never a big fan of those types of books growing up. I guess what he's doing is, in a way, something good, because maybe when we do look back and we actually realize, oh, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, but I also feel like maybe we as a society are starting to become like too sensitive, or like starting to be too nitpicky with things like before. Like, if you look at certain movies, like the movie White Chicks, everybody loved that movie.
Love that movie.
It was, I mean, it's a funny movie, but I feel like now people might be like, I don't know, might think it's disrespectful, or like.
Well, here's what people have to notice. The movie was directed, written, and two of the main stars were African American, right? So if they're saying these jokes, if they're doing these things, it's, I feel, all in good heart, right? They weren't doing it with the intent to respect anybody, but use it in a comedic value. And when it comes down to that, I feel like most people just push it out the window and don't even think about it in the first place. They're just like, nope, it's offensive. You guys did it. You guys said it. No. But they were in the movie theaters laughing and giggling when they saw those jokes happening. I mean, what's it called? The car scene, when they're singing Vanessa Carlton, and then they change the radio and all the girls start singing that song.
Like, there's nobody around.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, I mean, I honestly think the movie's funny, but I just feel like now there's going to be certain people that are like, oh my God, it's like so racist. Like, they're racist jokes. You can't make these jokes anymore. But it's like, I'm pretty sure you were laughing at these jokes before.
Yeah, and it's already been said and done. They already did the comedy value. They already showed us, you know, that it was okay to laugh at that. Like, I don't know. It's just there's so much that goes into it, and there's a lot of people that are always just gonna have their opinions on certain things, and they will never change on that. And that's
like bringing up I guess segment to the next topic, the Lil Nas X whole music video.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 'cause with that, there's like two different stories. There's the music video, and then there's the whole shoe thing.
Well, we could talk about that, because I don't know if it's on the verge of being canceled, or he's not putting himself in that bubble because there is no reason to be canceled. You know, his music video was very religious based, if that makes sense. You know, it had a lot of aspects of heaven and hell, and you know, when people saw it, it really got them talking. But he pretty much explained to the world, it's like the same hate, you know, he spent his entire, he tweeted, he was like this, you know, after all the hate that people were sending him for the video and for doing what he did, he tweeted, you know, I spent my entire teenage years hating myself because of the shit y'all preached would happen to me because I was gay. So I hope you are mad, stay mad, feel the same anger you teach us to have towards ourselves. I will say it's completely right. You know, my father's a pastor. I grew up in the church. I went to Christian private schools all my life. It was very hard to be myself. And even though the schools never really taught about, you know, homosexuality or this or that, they were never, what's the word? They were never supportive of any type of the LGBT community. And it was kind of hard because I couldn't find myself within a religious base. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did come from a Christian background, you know, and he you know, he was a queer kid in a Christian community. He felt, you know, alone. So he pretty much took ownership of himself and he made that video. I liked it. I thought it was very, very creative. I LOL'd so hard when he came down from the stripper pole and he started twerking on Satan himself.
Yeah, I thought the video was really, well, I guess on the deeper note, I think it was really like, really put things into perspective. Like it really like was like he said, you know, it's basically showing how you guys are all damning me to hell just because of something that's totally out of my control, like just of who I am, basically, like of what makes me me, or like what's part of me. Like you're saying that I deserve to be in hell, so okay, I'll go to hell. Like that's kind of how I saw it. Like, oh, you guys want me to go to hell, like I'll go to hell. And I thought that was really like clever on his end. It was you know. And I just think when it comes to religion, whoever is I don't know how to say this, whoever like the extremists always have to be right, if that makes sense.
But it's whatever they say is not always right.
Yeah.
So it's funny because as much as I think he's a creative person, like as much as I you know, don't abide by a lot of things they're saying, I still do believe that the shoes, he could have done everything fine, but without the shoes, right? You're literally releasing satanic shoes with a drop of blood in them.
Yeah, I feel like, well, does it really have blood in it though, or was that just like a marketing, like a joke?
I feel like we'll never really truly know. Supposedly, I don't know if this was a rumor or something, but supposedly people donated on his team, donated blood, and it's like his team's blood. I'm like, ew, why would I want somebody else's blood on my shoe? Like, no.
Yeah, the thing is with that, I don't know, because again, I feel like people who do cancel culture, probably there are going to be those people who probably try to grasp at straws or like make rumors to kind of expedite the whole cancel process. So with that, I'm just kind of like on the fence about it, because I don't know, it's very unsanitary, especially now with everything like the whole restrictions and trying to be sanitary because of COVID. I feel like that was a very like stupid thing to do.
Exactly. It's like, no, I'm good. Plus there was also 666 shoes that were made. I was just like, really? Like, out of all, what?
I mean, I get it. You're trying to play into the whole satanic things, but yeah, just, I don't know. And I feel like there could have been a way better way he could have approached that, like actually doing a collaboration with Nike, maybe not being satanic shoes, because I'm pretty sure if he did reach out to Nike to do the shoes, I'm pretty sure Nike probably denied it just because of like the brand. They didn't want it to affect the brand negatively.
Well, that's what happened. You remember, he posted the shoes, and the first thing that people noticed was Nike. So from there, people were boycotting Nike. They were trying to cancel Nike for supporting something as outrageous as shoes with 666 on it. saw that Nike was like, we don't have anything to do with that. That is not us. What he did is that he did it within another brand that I guess can get Nike shoes and make them themselves or whatnot. And now Nike is suing them for, I guess infringement or all that
Yeah, I
whatnot.
don't remember if it's trademark or copyright. I can't remember which.
Probably one of those two. But one thing that I feel like, Lil Nas X has been so good about, it was trademark. One thing that Lil Nas X has been so good about is not getting himself canceled, right? Something as big as this, and especially if you involve religion, it's always such a touchy subject. And he has done it in such a humorous, sarcastic way to still keep himself relevant. Because yes, on one hand, you have the people that are going to cancel him, that are going to bring him to the ground and tear him a new one. But on the other hand, you have people that are still uplifting him, still thanking him for not only the creativity, but also kind of like speaking about, religion within the LGBTQ community and how it's, tough because we still get shit every single day. Like I still feel like I cannot be my true authentic self when I come into church. I always still kind of have to be hidden or this and that. I know I'm not going to hell. Y'all can say that all you want, but no, you have your opinion, I have mine. But with some of the stuff, cancel culture can be such a tough thing. It takes a toll on people's health. And there was one tweet that he mentioned where he goes like, I'll be honest, all this backlash is putting an emotional toll on me. I try to cover it with humor, but it's getting hard. My anxiety is higher than ever. And stream Call Me By Your Name now on all platforms.
Yeah, I feel like he's very, like, he's very, not funny, but like he's very comedic. I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, it's not sarcastic, but he does it in a way where he can be true, yet still, I guess, not get what he wants, but still, show the world that it's not going to bring him down. What they say.
Which I guess is another thing with cancel culture. Like I feel like there's been many people or like celebrities that or I've seen it more so with like YouTubers where they would try to get canceled, but they'll say no, like why am I gonna get canceled over this that happened a long time ago, or why am I gonna get canceled over something that like they don't break under the pressure of the cancel culture,
which I think is also weird because YouTubers, since they're more of kind of like a social media personality, they're not as a celebrity doing work for a corporation or a label or a production company. It's, I guess, different, or for the government, right? So with YouTubers, it's more of like, it's just themselves. I know that I want to say YouTubers are a little bit more problematic than, I guess, celebrities or whatnot, because celebrities actually have like a team telling them, be careful what you do. But YouTubers, it's more of like a free-for-all. You get to be, it's a one-on-one with your fans. That's pretty
just
much
like last night, like you said, the whole, what we mentioned before we started recording, the whole Nikita Dragon and Trisha Paytas like Twitter feud they had. Like, yes. I feel like if there were celebrities, their PR team would not have let that slide.
Exactly. But since they're just YouTubers and they don't really have a team that doesn't, it's kind of like a free-for-all. It's like, it's your freedom of religion. They're going to say whatever the hell they want to say. I just thought it was funny because, yes, yesterday was Trans Visibility Day. And shout out to all my trans people. We love you. But who was it? Was Nikita Dragon and Trisha Paytas. I find them very entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, but how the hell you try to out cancel each other on Twitter? Like, I just think that was the most entertaining Twitter feud I have seen in a while.
Yeah, it was really, I didn't see it till this morning. It was, and the little bit that I did see, it was very harsh. Like they were really like going at it. Like they wanted
in.
Yeah.
Now remember, Trisha has come out saying that she was trans, and then she took it back, and that was offensive towards the trans community. I get it, but she learned from her mistakes, and she is now non-binary. Nikita herself, she is trans, right? Yet she's problematic in her own ways. One, she doesn't wear a mask, and she keeps, I guess, promoting that like everything's fine, which is kind of shady. Two, she tells people on Twitter, what race should I be today? First of all, why should you be changing your race when you're already an Asian female? Like, I just don't understand it. So with the fight happening last night, they were literally trying to out cancel each other with all the things that they have been canceled for.
Yeah, like I saw her bring up, Nikita Dragon brought up the whole transgender thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Trisha retaliated and says, oh, but you literally you got mad about this and that, and paying a model to pretend to be your fake boyfriend, then dumping him because you didn't want him, and then everyone canceling him, right? That's kind of, shady. And most of the things that she's done is hang out with like quote unquote pedophiles, which we don't have to get into, but it's just the drama and the tea that was spilled over their Twitter feud was heavenly high. And oh my goodness, I was having
like serious accusations too.
Yeah, and they were coming up with receipts. The fans started getting into it, and they were pulling up things that they found from the past.
Nikita's co-star from their podcast.
Mm-hmm. Like it was a whole shitstorm. I don't remember seeing it like die out, but oh my goodness, it was a non-stop shit show, and I just could not stop laughing. But when it comes to those types of things, you see those YouTubers just kind of like chill it out, whatnot. I will say this, Nikita, she is a strong girl. She's been quote unquote canceled many times, yet she still tries to find her way back up. Now Trisha, she's a girl that has been canceled, has taken ownership of her mistakes, and has tried to be better, yet she still somehow gets canceled for some reason.
It's not enough for people.
One thing that I like about Trisha is that she does talk about her mental health and trying to get a little bit better. She knows that she's not perfect, and she knows that she's, not everything everybody wants her to be, but she takes ownership of her mistakes. And I think that's a really, really good thing to talk about, because especially in nowadays, our society is so quick to bring people down, and you have to take into consideration what's going on behind the scenes of that person. Like, so much crap could be going on, right? You never know if that person could be suicidal. You never know if that person is popping pills or drinking alcohol to cope with them being canceled, right? That leads to a person's mental state, and it could really take a toll on them. Like, if I'm not mistaken, there was speaking of YouTubers, there was another podcast video that a YouTuber by the name of Joey Graceffa did, and he actually had Nikita Dragon and another famous makeup beauty guru, James Charles, on the show. And if you don't know who James Charles is, which I'm assuming most of you know, because one of the biggest scandals that he's ever had was on national television. And when I mean national, they were talking about him on BBC, on CNN, like this was all over the world. But he was on this podcast, and he was talking to, Joey was talking to him, and Joey mentioned how he's like, how are you doing? How's your mental state? And he's like, I'm doing better. He's like, the past year was crazy, but he learned from mistakes. One thing that he did mention is like, my support team, my friends were there. And he's like, if they weren't there, I don't think I'd be here. So it's like things like that. You don't really know what a person is going through just because the whole world is shitting on you.
Yeah, but, and I think a lot of the times we forget, like we mentioned before, like there was like studies or theories being thrown out there that the reason why we cancel people is because we like feeling empowered. And I think just because we don't know these celebrities personally, or we see them through a screen every day or whatnot, we forget that they also have complex lives and complex feelings just like the rest of us. So it makes it easier to just, you know, say nasty things and do nasty things to them just because what separates us is a screen.
Yeah.
And that is just crazy. That's why it's this whole cancel culture thing is so messy and mixed up, because people who cancel each other, well, I'll just say it, we don't really care what the other person is feeling. Like at the end of the day, that's really what it is. Because if we did, we would accept them for their flaws. We would, okay, you made a mistake, we forgive you. Like your friend, like if your friend made a mistake, you're not gonna stop being friends with them. You're gonna be like, okay, like I forgive you, you learned.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of more how we should go about cancel culture, like bringing up the mistake or like acknowledging the mistake, but then still like I brought that up. There should be room for improvement there.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the thing with society. It's like someone can be canceled, someone can come back, issue an apology and say, I've learned from my mistakes, I'm getting better, this and that, but society will not accept that person's apology. Like once you did that, you've done it, you're done. I don't see that. Like I feel like people can grow. Again, I think I mentioned in the last podcast, you know, it takes time, some more time than others. But at the end of the day, I feel like people have the capability to grow from their mistakes. You can't just be so quick to bring somebody down and keep them at that level, right? No, it's not right.
And then that's why nowadays we see a lot of celebrities like taking their own lives or like going into drugs and like kind of just going off the rails, because a lot of it has to do with like just cancel culture or just plain out like negative comments from like their haters or people that are just don't like them. So they want to.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think most of the cancellation when canceling someone comes from like a right-winged side than more of a left-winged side, if that makes sense?
Yeah, okay.
Like, okay, so like for instance, Cardi B, right? Love her, she's my girl, but when she performed Up and WAP on the Grammy stage, who was the one that started a shitstorm on Twitter? Candace Owens. She goes and says she's a girl that's on I don't know, is Candace Owens on Fox, or I forgot where she was, but she started a shit show about how kids are watching the Grammys and they're, you know, learning from watching her because she's a role model and this and that. But at the end of the day, she's not in charge of what your kid watches or what your kid does. That's on you. And I don't know, it's just, I find it funny. She was very cool, you know, even though a person doesn't get canceled, you know, by the mass of society, I feel like they can still get canceled by like one person and make a story out of it or make a point from it. And they were going back and forth on Twitter. It wasn't just a one thing, like they were really getting the heat from it, and news media outlets started picking it up. They started talking about it on news articles. It was all over Twitter. That's why I kind of ask, do you kind of think it's more of a right or more of a left winged side opinion of
I feel like it depends on what the subject is, because I feel like each side has their own each side obviously has their own strong opinions. So I feel like it depends on what the subject matter is, because you want everyone to believe what you believe in. At least that's what, like, from like the situations that I see, like the whole Grammys thing, like I see it, but also the way I'm looking at it is the Grammys are like at least the way that they've been presenting themselves for years, they're an elegant, high class, like award show. And the performance maybe didn't meet that expectation, but also it's like there were artists that you nominated and you awarded, so why like punish them for doing?
But that was, they were nominated and awarded by the Grammy Association, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's then why be mad at something that was approved already by like its source?
Mm-hmm. I just feel like with change and everything, people are not as accepting to adapt to that change, and at this point it's like, come on.
Yeah. Oh,
did I cut off?
Yeah, you like cut off for a little bit.
Yeah, fuck. My internet went down.
You're still here though.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're still here.
Okay. Shit.
Okay. Well, we could just cut that out. We could wrap it up because I think we're over a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of, yeah. Okay, so let's kind of like get an outro, and then we're good. But with cancel culture, I really do believe that things need to change in order for us to see change, right? Either if it's society as a mass, or with you as an individual yourself. You never know how much power you can create, and by telling other people, you know, we can't just be so quick to cancel things or be so quick to cancel people. Yeah. Sharon Stone said it best, like, it is kind of idiotic. I'm not saying all of it is, but I feel like, you know, we have to know what to cancel and who to cancel, and for the right and the wrong reasons, not just because everyone's doing it.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, change, if you want a big movement or like a big group of people to change, you can't force them to change. It has to start with ourselves. Like, we have to change each other's, because we're gonna do what we want to do, we're gonna think what we want to think, we want to feel what we want to feel. So in order for all of this whole this culture is toxic because we let it be toxic, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. And with that, I think this podcast is coming to an end. I just want to say thank you so much for joining another episode of Canceled with Heated of South Florida. I am Jeffrey, one of your hosts.
And I'm Alejandro, the other host.
And we hope you have a beautiful and blessed weekend.
And again, happy Trans Visibility Day, right?
Oh, and happy Easter and whatever y'all want to celebrate as well.
Good Friday and all the others that I don't know.
A good one.
Yeah, bye.